And a lot of big games to get to. My name is Howard Chen. That is three-time Super Bowl champ Ted Johnson. This is the Houston High School Football Wrap-Up Show brought to you by TexanDrive.com. And Ted, last week we talked a lot about the playoffs. We're going to talk a lot more about the playoffs tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. We're a couple of weeks left in the regular season, so a lot of teams are getting themselves positioned for the playoffs. So a lot of good games tonight to get to, Howard.
Great games. One in mind that's still in my head from last week, Crosby and Caney. How about tonight? Our Big Star Ford game of the week was definitely no slouch. We go to it now. Clear Creek against Dickinson. It is our Big Star Ford game of the week. Dickinson, Clear Creek, both teams came in undefeated. Dickinson, the Gators, came in ranked 7th. Clear Creek, maybe a sign of disrespect. They did not have any votes for the polls. Maybe after this, things would change. That's some foreshadowing. Dickinson, Dylan Baines, Jordan Myers, the Rice commit, 33-yard score. Gators on top 7-3, but Clear Creek did a good job on defense. They held Myers in check, and then the interception by Kobe Burton, 9 yards in for the pick six. It was 17-7 Clear Creek in front at the half. Second half, Chase Hildreth, Devon Smith gets in for the 6-yard score. It's 24-7, but Dickinson not done yet. They're undefeated for a reason. Baines to Rohan Oliver makes it 65 yards, 24-14. Gators down, now down 24-19. It's Myers. This kid is talented. Can't keep a good man down all game long. 8-yard score. He would also score on the 2-point conversion to make it 27-24. Less than 90 seconds remaining in the game. And Hildreth, he's got a great arm. He finds Donnell Hayward along the sidelines, dives in, and the refs say he's in. He got in on the left pylon. That turns out to be the winning touchdown because on the ensuing drive, Patrick Watico with a game-clinching interception for Clear Creek. And so Dickinson handed their first loss of the season, 31-27. Wildcats, a great game. Great game planning. Their defense really holding off the Gators, especially the first half. But second half, even though Dickinson rallied, Clear Creek, they get the W. Here's reaction afterwards.
Anytime you get a win against a great football team like Dickinson, a great program, I can't say enough for our kids, the way they fought and battled. Dickinson, they got tremendous athletes. Coach Selson does a heck of a job. It's always a battle. 2 years ago, we really beat up on them. Last year, they beat up on us. This year, it was a good, solid football game.
Coach, you're having a great starting lead of 17-7 in the first half. What did you say to your guys to keep them level-headed for the second half of the game?
Well, most of our kids, have started for us as sophomores. They have a lot of experience, and they just know how to. They don't lose their focus. They stay focused. They don't get overconfident. They know that it's strictly business with these kids.
How did tonight's game prepare you guys for the playoffs?
Well, throughout the season, you hope you're always put in different situations that you can draw on when you get into a similar situation in the playoffs and make the play. Hey, we've been here before. We did it. We're never out of the game. We're ready to go.
All right, well, congratulations, Coach. Thank you so much.
That was a great job by Jessica Stevens on that interview. Thank you very much, Jessica. But bottom line, in that game, most people probably expected Dickinson to come out ahead. Both teams knew, everybody knew both teams were good. But for Clear Creek to pull it off, that is a statement victory.
Yeah, huge. At this point in the season, carry this momentum into the playoffs. Gets their swagger going a little bit. When you play a team like Dickinson, where they're supposed to be underdogs, and you beat a team like this, at this point in the season, momentum's big going into the end of the playoffs. So, huge win for Clear Creek right there, Howard.
Another team with a high-powered offense, Atascocita.
Oh man, gosh, you got that right, Howard Chin. Look at this quarterback, Davion Boyd, comes into this game for Atascocita, 34 touchdown passes, 5 interceptions, Howard. Yeah, you heard me right, buddy. Watch this, but this is Conroe's Colby Kesey. Touchdown pass to Kelly McFarland. Man, he's out the gate. 60-yard touchdown pass. Puts him up. They get a 2-point conversion there. But that's not going to be enough here. Look at Atascocita's Davion Boyd. To Coy Fairman. Davion Boyd every single week, Howard.
Yeah.
This kid is amazing right here. Davion Boyd to Niles Campbell. That's pretty much the connection right there, those two right there. Woo! Nice little pass there, little post right there. Atascocita wins this one big, 55-15. That's a huge win for those boys to carry their record to 9-1, 5-1 in the division.
You know, we give him credit every single week because every single week we keep on hearing the same name when it comes to Atascocita, Davion Boyd.
Yeah, he's the flag carrier. I mean, that kid shows up every single week. I mean, those are incredible stats that he puts up. Almost 3,000 yards passing already. So what a talented kid he is.
He's really a big part of the Atascocita offense. Speaking of offenses, Crosby also has a very dynamic offense. They're one of the best teams in the area, no doubt. Could the Cougars, how will they bounce back after a close game last week? Stay tuned after the break. Gotta love the cheerleaders. I feel the love whenever they do that. And they get the name of the show correct. I mean, it's pretty hard.
Yeah, it's
Houston
really
High School Football Wrap-Up Show, brought to you by TexanDrive.com. My name is Howard Chen. That's Ted Johnson. And like we said before the break, I mean, Crosby against New Caney from last week, that was a close game. A game like that, how much can that wake up a team a little bit?
No, you kidding me? It's smack right in the face of wake up. So that's, you know, look, you go in a game like that and those things happen, boy, that really will wake you up.
Smack right in the face wake up. Let's see how Crosby would respond this week against Porter. Cougars still unbeaten, ranked second in the state. Tristan Cotton, the guy has made a lot of plays this year. Here he finds Shane Hudson from 22 yards out. Arms raised, 6-0, but here it's Manny Netherly at quarterback. Most people probably don't know. He has 2 passing TDs so far this season. Also has 1 rushing TD. There's one right there, 15 yards, makes it 13-zip. Then Netherly again. His 3rd passing touchdown of the season to Mr. Hudson. We talked about him earlier. That one actually is not a touchdown, down to the 1, but they would score. To make it 28-0 on this play, Terrell Wiley gets in, and Crosby, in a little bit of an easier fashion compared to last week's game, Cougars with that smack you right in the face wake-up call. They get the win, 35-7.
All right, here we go. Howard, we got Seven Lakes taking on Mayde Creek. Oh, excuse me, we got Klein Forest taking on Westfield. Excuse me, everybody. There we go. We got Dylan Sterling Cole to Joshua LeBlanc. 32-yard pass. Oh, that's a nice pass in the back end zone. Kid got both those feet in. Go up 7-zip right there. Here we go. We got Sterling Cole to Kenneth Rose, a 15-yard touchdown. A little 15-yard touchdown scamper there, putting him up 14-0 at this point. And more Sterling Cole to Ed Oliver. I know that kid, Ed Oliver. He's playing defense, I thought. 7-yard TD run right there. And then again, Sterling Cole to Sean Lewis. Ooh, Westfield had this game beginning to end, man. It wasn't even close. 59-13 moves their record up to 7-2, 4-2 in the district.
Yeah, great job by Westfield bouncing back after, you know, in the middle of the season, they kind of had a little rough stretch right there and hit a little speed bump, but getting a big win right there, they should be pretty good.
Yeah, you know, that a few weeks ago, that little dust up with spring there was unfortunate instance. You know, guys got suspended, but they came back and all is well. They hopefully learned their lesson there, and they'll get those wheels rolling there. And Ed Oliver on offense, but I hadn't seen that, so that was big too. So that team is poised and ready at 2 Under Armour All-Americans on that team, which is pretty impressive.
Pretty good team right there. As you can see, Courtney Madden is here with us. So, Courtney, what can you tell us what happened on Twitter?
Yeah, we have a couple topics to talk about tonight, starting with the team that's been the biggest surprise this season, obviously with some teams sneaking into the playoffs last minute. So here we go. P.O. Pip said, Cinco Ranch, undefeated. Texas High School Football said, definitely Strake Jesuit. No one has expected them to even vaguely be in the playoff chase. And Scarrison669 said, I think New Caney versus Mike Crosby Cougs, much improved. And now we're on to the tweets about the Dickinson versus Clear Creek game. Audrey Helen said, Dickinson has only lost 2 games in 2 years. Y'all calm down.
Wow, that's impressive.
And
you got it right.
Stephen LC said, ticket scalpers at the Clear Creek Dickinson game. I've never seen that at a high school football game before. And I have to admit, I don't think I have ever seen that
Only
before
in Texas, baby. Only in Texas. That's
Yeah, I love
cool.
that. I mean, that's definitely a sign in Texas high school football separates it from any other.
Yeah,
Only
you got
in
that
Texas.
right. That's really, really cool.
All right, so Katy football, they're pretty good. Yeah, we'll see their latest conquest coming up next on the Houston High School Football Wrap-Up Show, brought to you by TexanDrive.com. The road to the UIL Football Championships leads to NRG Stadium in Houston right here from December 17th through the 19th. You can get your tickets by logging on to Ticketmaster.com now, and you can watch all the games on the TV home of the UIL Football Championships, Fox Sports Southwest, and that is indeed the channel you are watching for the Houston High School Football Wrap-Up Show, brought to you by TexanDrive.com. That is 3-time Super Bowl champ Ted Johnson. I am Howard Chen, and Thursday action, we had quite a bit of it, so let's get right to it. How about some Katy action? Because the Tigers have been nothing short of dominant this season, ranked second in the state, but, you know, I think they're better than that. I might be somewhat biased. Kadarius Page with the touchdown.
Better than those.
Makes it 7-0. That was a good one. Garrett Dwyer drops back, throws to J.C. Santana. 57 yards later, it is 28-0 Tigers. And we got a glimpse of the future in this one. In the third quarter, Rocky Emery pitches it to Kevon Copeland for 47 yards, makes it 63-0 later on in the third. Another quarterback, Hayden Baker.
Wow.
He pitches it to Copeland for 34 yards, just breaking tackles near the end, makes it 76-0. And what makes this even more impressive is that the Tigers, they were doing this without Kyle Porter. And Kyle Porter's been their star. He has an injury out 2 to 3 weeks, expectedly. But 84-0 Tigers stay unbeaten. This is crazy. DeAndre Glass, big game for him with 4 touchdowns.
Here we go, Howard. Summer Creek taking on the Woodlands. Can anybody beat the Woodlands here? No, not on this night here. Eric Smith to Carlos Ramos for a 10-yard run there. Puts the Woodlands up to 14 zip at that point. Eric Smith again, hands off. It's Carlos Ramos. Ooh, nice little run out to the outside. A little cutback, nice. 10-yard TD run there, putting up the Wood up 28-14. There we go here. And again, the Woods. Craig Hazer to Grant Murphy, a little 6-yard TD pass, a little play action, nice play there, putting them up 42-14. And then Harry Woodbury to Grayson Brown. Everybody getting in on the action for a little 24-yard TD run right there. Man, the Woodlands just putting a hammer down on Summer Creek, 49-14. Let's go out to the happy head coach of the Woodlands, Mark Schmidt, commenting on the game.
Okay, Mark M. Johnson here with Texan Live, Fox Sports Southwest. We're here with Coach Schmidt. Coach, you guys took a 7-point lead over there into the halftime, and you guys absolutely dominated the second half. What was the difference?
Difference was, I think, some of their success in the first half was some missed tackles on our part, giving them some first downs that kept drives alive, and that's the thing we did a whole lot better in the second half is we tackled extremely well, put a lot of pressure on their quarterbacks in terms of when they were throwing the football. And then we were pretty opportunistic on the offensive side. They faked a couple punts, and we got short fields. We put the ball in the end zone, and I think we ran the ball pretty well the entire game. And so that was the difference between the first half and the second half.
It was an incredibly entertaining game all the way through. Your offensive scheme that you do, you seem to go to the slants a lot, pick up yardage here and there rather than go for the long plays. Is that usually your strategy that you go for, or does it change game to game? It
changes game to game. We felt like we could run the football, and and I think if you can run the football, you can control the clock, and you can do a lot of things for your team. And so running the football was a priority for us tonight. And we were doing a great job of it, and the way they were playing in the secondary, they were saying 2 safeties over the top. A lot of times they were playing man coverage underneath, and so, that allowed us to run the football. And
What's
so that's
his name?
what we did.
What's his name?
Since you guys have gone to 6A, you haven't lost a game in district yet. Next
Mark
week
Johnson?
you do play
What's his
Kingwood,
last name?
and they're not the team they were last year. They've come through a lot, and they could make a playoff run this year.
Is it Johnson?
How do you see yourselves squaring up against Kingwood next week?
It's going to be a big game. Kingwood is playing for they're in the playoffs, but they're playing for a seeding spot now. And so they get the number 1 seed in the small school. They get a home game at Turner, and so I know that's what they want to do. They got a game tomorrow night against College Park, which will be a big game. So I expect a very physical football game next Thursday night over at Turner Stadium. They're a good football team, well coached, and we're going to have to play well.
Coach, congratulations on your win tonight. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mark Schmidt, and thank you, Mark Johnson, for that interview. Schmidt's crew, the Woodlands, continuing their highly impressive season. Remember, the Highlanders, their only loss this year so far, coming to the very impressive Katy Tigers. All right, more Thursday action. Let's check out Stratford. They only have 1 loss on the season, going against another tough team, Magnolia West, coming in, also had 1 loss on the season. This guy's the real deal. I've nicknamed him that before. Rakeem Boyd in there for a 3-yard score. He would have another touchdown run later. That one made it 7-0. Skip now the third quarter. Mark Murdoch, actually that's to Jatavion Tolles, 16-yard score, makes it 27-0. The Woodlands jumped on top big. Magnolia West finally getting on the board in the third quarter. Tyler Fair to Demarin Mitchell. This play goes for 75 yards, but too little too late for Magnolia West. Rakeem Boyd, 28 carries, 163 yards, a big game, but got to give some credit to the defense. Teddy J, you're going to love that. They held Magnolia West to 164 total yards.
That's incredible. That's utter domination right there. You hold a team anytime, anything between under 300 yards, Howard, you're doing pretty good. You hold them to under 200 yards like that. That's impressive.
And the Woodlands has really made a name for itself, really on its defense so far this season. The fact that Magnolia West was able to score 14 points in that game was pretty remarkable.
Yeah, absolutely, Howard. You're absolutely right. You know, and the Woodlands are that team is on a roll right now. And Stratford, excuse me, that team is on a roll right now, Stratford. And with defense like that, a lot of these teams, defense is optional for some of these high school teams. Man, they play some defense there at Stratford.
Yeah, it's my bad right there, confusing the Woodlands and Stratford. Great win for Stratford and the Spartans. Let's move on to CE King and Kingwood Park. This is another Thursday night game. Both teams are called the Panthers, so I'm going to just keep on saying the school's name, if you will. At CE King, they're up 7-0 at this point. Kingwood Park, Zach Purcell, Garrett
nice
Sweeney
play.
Goes around the right side. No one's going to catch him.
Fast.
He scores. That makes it 14-0. This was a back-and-forth game. More Kingwood Park later on. Purcell looks to the left side this time to C.J. Benson from 5 yards. That ties it at 14. Still in the first half, Jonathan Brantley. This guy made some plays. Escaping the pressure. Made a little 360 there.
Great play right there.
Yeah,
Man,
it was. Desmond Coleman from about 20 yards out makes it 21-14 for CE King. More Brantley, more CE King later on, still in the first half. This one to Coleman again. Another score, more than 20 yards. He's celebrating. This game was tied at 24 in the fourth quarter. Like I said, a back-and-forth affair of CE King making the big plays when it counts the most. Panthers of CE King, they win it. 38-27, TCU commit Travion Williams with the big game, as you see there.
All right, Howard, here we go. Willow Ridge versus taking on Ridge Point here. Howard Chin. Here you go, Andrew Brennan to David Packard. Nice little 22-yard pass out there. Look at him. Look at that kid go. Man, he's not very big, man, but he'll run over you there. Here we go. We got Trevor Flores returns a punt. Look at special teams getting involved here. Punt from Grant Carlson. He could go all the way. All right, I swore I never would do that in this show, but I did. 69-yard TD run there, putting them up 20-10. And then Andrew Brennan, again, 22-yard pass to David Pickard. Look at that's a bowling ball butcher knives right there. Look at him up the left-hand side, dives in there for the score. All right, here we go. We got Ridge Point Panthers taking this one 29 for the Willow Ridge Eagles.
Katy needing a win to stay in playoff contention. They had a big game against Klein, another Thursday night game. And what would happen? Well, when you're desperate for the playoffs, you're going to make some plays happen. And Adrian Hardy had himself a ball game. Aaron Cephas, him too. He had 3 receiving scores on the evening. That one from 44 yards away.
That's like
makes it 6-zip. Yeah. Klein up 14-12 in the second. Another play Hardy. This time to Tyrick Mitchell up the middle down the sideline. He goes 50-yard score. They would make the 2-point conversion after that to go up 20-14. Final minute of the first half. Actually, this game with 16 seconds left to go before intermission. Hardy to Cephas, 33 yards, 26-14. And Hardy, he also made plays with his feet.
Sure did.
Sprinting around, no defender. They're trying to pursue him. They knock him down, but not before he scores. Makes it 34-14. Caney wins it 48-21. Guess what? Adrian Hardy, he had 5 total touchdowns, 3 passing, 2 rushing. The Wildcats, they needed that win, and they got it.
Man, Wildcats got athletes all over the field. There's some big players out there playing receiver out there. Those corners didn't have a chance tonight.
How big of a boost is it, Ted, when a team is playing for its playoff life? And they go out there, and I mean, as we can see, some of the teams just stepped up big time.
Yeah, you got to. This is where this is where the pretenders and contenders get separated here. So if you're going to make a run in the playoffs, you got to do that. You got to make your mark right here, and you need the momentum going in at the end of the season. In football, more than any other sport, momentum is the key.
Well, we've talked about all the talent in this area before, and there's a lot of it in the Houston area. So there are a lot of presentations over these last few weeks, whether it be Under Armour presentations or U.S. Army presentations for their All-Star games. Here's Courtney Madden with a recap.
The Under Armour All-America Game Jersey Tour is in Houston and has already presented many jerseys to top athletes all around the greater Houston area.
So my tour, taking care of a few players from the California area and Los Angeles area, in the greater Phoenix area, and the majority of our players come from greater Dallas and Houston area.
The Under Armour All-America game uses ESPN recruiting and their ranking system to determine roughly the top 90 players in the country. From there, they form 2 rosters to compete against each other in the game. Texan Live was fortunate enough to attend 4 jersey presentations.
Oh, it feels great. It feels like, you know, your hard work is paying off.
Some were lighthearted, some more sentimental.
Well, first I want to thank God for letting me have this opportunity. I want to thank my mom, my coaches, and most of all, I want to thank y'all. You know,
But for all of them, this was a dream come true.
It's a dream come true. You know, I've been dreaming about it since I was a little kid, so it's really a big accomplishment for me.
I dream about this since I was little, man, just watching tons of people from this game go on to the NFL, college. So I'm just truly blessed, man. It's a blessing. I've been wanting to do it ever since I was thinking about it ever since I was little. God came and just, you know, blessed me.
Be sure to catch the Under Armour All-America game live on ESPN2 January 2nd.
You know, thank goodness for the Under Armour game. They're relatively new because of them, more people from the Houston area, you see their names right there. They can be involved in these national high school showcases. As you see, Westfield had 2 representatives, Manvel with 2 as well, but 9 players from the Houston area involved with the Under Armour game. Moving on to the Army game. The U.S. Army game is huge. It takes place in San Antonio. Great jobs by all to be named to the game. Ross Blacklock, Davian Dickinson, the record setter headed to UT. Jordan Elliott, big-time recruit in Shewo Alanalua. Gotta love him as well from Kingwood. Okay, and Alanalua, we all know he did suffer an injury last week. Prayers up to him because Kingwood, with an impressive victory tonight, 21-0. We'll be back with more high school football. You're tuning in to the Houston High School Football Wrap-Up Show, brought to you by TexanDrive.com. All right, checking out Sports Radio 610 scoreboards. Langham Creek beating Cy Springs 69-36, and wow, what a game! 74-73. No
That's
typo
ridiculous.
there. Deshaun Qualls accounting for 10 touchdowns.
Go ahead, tackle somebody there, guys. MacArthur Generals taking this one 30-22 over Aldine Mustangs, and then Eisenhower Eagles taking this one over Houston Memorial Mustangs 17-14.
How about West Side
West
winning
Side
over
up.
Westbury 51-14, and Port Arthur Memorial beating Beaumont Westbrook 16-9. That Jersey Village game, 74-73, was absolutely crazy, but we're going to go to Montgomery Klein Oak. First highlight, we check out Brandon Blair with a read option up the middle, makes it 7-0. You'll hear more from him a little bit later on. Later in the first quarter, the snap to Anthony Thomas is bobbled, but he still rushes in for 10 yards away. That ties it at 7. This was a close game right here. Klein Oak really needing a win. Blair making it happen for his Panthers. 34 yards, and he's in 14-7. Let's check out the final of this game. Blair with those 2 TD runs, both scores for the Panthers. They needed a win. They got it 17-14 over Montgomery. Both teams needed that, actually.
All right, Howard, here we go. Channelview taking on Baytown. Baytown 0-4 in district, man, having a rough season. Get used to this name right here. Jalen Hurts had 2 pass touchdowns and 4 rushing touchdowns on the night. Jalen Hurts right there, read option, 47-yard touchdown right there. And then here we go. Jalen Hurts again keeps the ball again up the middle for a 20-yard run. Hits his head on the goalpost there. And then you got Sterling, Matt Corbett. A little quarterback sweep right there. Nice little run there to the outside, 8-yard TD run to put the Sterling up 6 points there. Alexander Moyer to Quan Aredan toward a 22-yard pitch and catch, but not enough for Sterling. Channelview takes this one, Howard, 49-25. Baytown 0-5 in district. Channelview setting themselves up nicely for the playoffs with that win there, Howard.
And yeah, for the first time in 21 years, Channelview, they're making the playoffs.
How about that? Are you kidding me? That's fantastic right there. You got to be pumped, man, to be part of a team. It's not going to be a legacy, but part of it is a legacy when your team hasn't, when your school hasn't been there in 21 years. The guys on that team, the seniors on that team, are part of a legacy, getting them for the first time in 21 years The hard work's paid off.
And the last time they made the playoffs, as we said last week, their quarterback was Dwight Netherly, the father of Crosby's Manny Netherly. All right, more highlights. Manvel against Pasadena Memorial. Manvel getting a lot of respect out there, even though they did lose their first game. But who cares about that? It's what have you done for me lately, and they have done a lot. They have done a lot of scoring. De'Ara King to Keelan Stokes, 10 yards. That makes it 7-0. You'll see plenty more of the Mavericks because King, this guy, all he does is make plays. Devon Penniman, the Ole Miss commit, who this week got an offer from Alabama. 7 yards, they made it 14-zip. Gotta give some love to the D because they made it happen tonight as well. Trent Serrato with a pick of Israel Trevino. This game, only De'Ara King making plays, but also his backup, Kyle Trask. And Trask was 3 of 3, so 3 pass completions, 139 yards passing, a pass TD and a rush TD. That's the backup. Yeah, that's why
right there.
Florida sees a future in him. TCU seeing the future of De'Ara King.
The schools that these kids are mentioning with is incredible. The talent, it's unmatched.
And these are guys who didn't make the Under Armour game, by the way. They had 2 other kids making the Under Armour game, so tremendous efforts.
Here we go.
Yeah.
We got Dawson Eagles taking this one, boy, South Houston. Dawson Eagles taking this one 56-7 over South Houston Trojans right there. That's a big win by Dawson. South Houston needed that game big time if they had any chance of getting in the playoffs, Howard.
So earlier we saw a little bit of Atascocita. We talked a little bit about Davion Boyd, and they've been really impressive, right?
Davion Boyd, every single week. He just seems to be showing up. I mean, that guy is a special player for Atascocita. Only 1 loss on the season. That's an impressive team right there, and he is the straw that stirs the drink for sure.
Well, it's not just Davion Boyd. Their team is really good. That's why they are our Texan Live Team of the Week. Here is Courtney Madden.
A tough offense and defense, the Atascocita Eagles seem to have it all. Entering Week 10, the Eagles had 4,218 total yards, 193 first downs, and 2,581 passing yards. That's all with the help from a group of a solid upperclassmen.
The seniors have done a good job. 4 years ago, they were freshmen when we got here, and they've just done a good job through their whole 3.5 years here so far. So I think you have to have good senior leadership, and they get along well with one another.
We have a lot of returning starters from last year, so our chemistry been together since spring ball, so we really been doing great all season.
In Max Prep's Texas 6A rankings this week, Atascocita Junior quarterback Davion Boyd led the state in passing yards with 2,545 and 34 touchdowns. Senior wide receiver Niall Campbell was second in Texas in receptions with 65.5, and senior wide receiver Coy Fairman was 4th in the state with 13 touchdown catches.
Doing well, but we have some plays that we don't execute. That's why we come to practice. We work on that so we can execute them next game. It's more time and getting the stuff out quick, getting the balls out quick, giving them to them so receivers have more time to make their moves and get upfield.
Now, headed into the playoffs, one of Coach Stump's challenges will be keeping the team level-headed.
Yeah, I mean, that's the hardest thing with 17, 16, 18-year-olds, you know. But I think we preach a lot about each week is different. Anybody can beat you, just like they can beat anybody. And this game is, you know, what have you done lately is really what matters. It's kind of unfortunate, you know, you play these games and the next thing you know it's over because you always have to move on to the next one. That's the hardest thing for seniors. They realize, oh my gosh, it's over now.
And these seniors aren't ready for it to be over.
Every week is a big game, you know, so we got to work hard and practice, and that's what gets us ready for the game.
The Eagles are playoff bound and are ready to put up a fight, and that is why they are the Team of the Week, presented to you by Texan Live.
Madden breaking out the stats right there, and those were big-time stats, and we had a big-time game. In case you missed it, a great game between Dickinson and Clear Creek. You won't want to miss it. Stay tuned after the break. All right, welcome back to the Houston High School Football Wrap-Up Show, brought to you by TexansDrive.com. That is 3-time Super Bowl champ Ted Johnson. I am Howard Chen, and we've been talking playoffs, the importance of these games, all show long, and our Big Star Ford Game of the Week. Dickinson against Clear Creek. These are 2 teams that will be making the playoffs. So it's a battle of unbeatens. Which team would come out on top? Gators probably hyped up as the team to beat in this game, as you see the cheerleaders lending their support. For the Gators, they got on the board They scored the game's first touchdown. Dylan Baines to Jordan Myers, their star, who will be taking his talents to Rice University, 33 yards, 7-3. Clear Creek, their defense did a good job on Myers most of the game, and their defense with a pick six makes it 10-7. It was 17-7 at the break. Then in the third, after some turnovers for the Gators, Chase Hildreth to Devon Smith on the handoff, 6-yard score, makes it 24-7. Gators really made a lot of mistakes in this one. They fumbled on their first two drives to start the second half, but they did not let that get them down. Rohan Oliver, 65 yards, that cuts the score to 24-14. Now 24-19. We check out Jordan Myers. We saw him earlier. He gets in, and not only that, but he also hustles on in for the two-point conversion, gives Dickinson the lead, 27-24 with 1:26 remaining. Now in the final minute, Hildreth to Donnell Hayward. He dives in. The refs, the hands up. That means, no, they're not celebrating. They're calling it a touchdown. The Wildcats, they hold off a furious Dickinson rally to give the Gators their first loss of the season. Here is some of the post-game reaction.
All right, here we go. We got Atascocita taking on Concordia.
Anytime you get a win against a great football team like Dickinson, a great program, I can't say enough for our kids, the way they fought and battled. Dickinson, they got tremendous athletes. Coach Nelson does a heck of a job. It's always a battle. 2 years ago, we really beat up on them. Last year, they beat up on us. This year, it was a good, solid football game.
Coach, you're having a great starting lead of 17-7 in the first half. What did you say to your guys to keep them level-headed for the second half of the game?
Well, most of our kids, have started for us as sophomores. They have a lot of experience, and they just know how to. They don't lose their focus. They stay focused. They don't get overconfident. They know that it's strictly business with these kids.
How did tonight's game prepare you guys for the playoffs?
Well, throughout the season, you hope you're always put in different situations that you can draw on when you get into a similar situation in the playoffs and make the play. Hey, we've been here before. We did it. We're never out of the game. We're ready to go.
All right, well, congratulations, Coach. Thank you.
Oh, yeah. All right, Howard, Cordy, have you ever heard of quarterback Davion Boyd for Atascocita? Well, if you haven't heard of him, get ready, because here he goes. Not on this play. This is Conroe's Colby Kesey. Nice little 60-yard TD pass to Kelly McFarland. That's about the only highlight Conroe had all night, man. And after that, it was the Davion Boyd show. Look at this kid is special. Just slings it out there. No big deal. Out there to the right-hand corner of the end zone there. TD pass to Coy Farron puts Atascocita up 28-8 at this point. Again, Davion Boyd. Look at that precision pass. Nice little skinny poster out there. Puts the boys up. Atascocita 35-8. Coming into this game, Howard, Davion Boyd had 34 touchdown passes to 5 interceptions. What an impressive kid. Atascocita takes this one 55-15.
Yeah, Davion Boyd's pretty good. You know who else is pretty good? Angel Verdejo, the Houston Chronicle. We'll hear from him up next on the Houston High School Football Wrap-Up Show, brought to you by TexanDrive.com. A huge game between LaPorte and North Shore, both unbeaten in district play. We know the Mustangs are good, and this was a play. As we see the first highlight, it is Tyler Boudreau makes it happen. In North Shore, I was talking with coaches all week long. They were saying this was a big game, big game, big game. Well, the message was passed along. The players obviously got it. They shut out LaPorte 33-0. So, I was talking to the coaches. They came off 3 losses, and since then they haven't lost. And I was asking them if there was a risk of being overconfident, and apparently not.
No, not when you lost the first 3 games of the season. You learn your lesson well. And my dad always said the best lessons always come at your own expense. So, those guys aren't going to take any game too lightly at this point. Yeah, North Shore, highly impressive. Another highly impressive player, Deshaun Qualls from Jersey Village. We talked about him earlier. He had 6 passing TDs and 4 rushing TDs. That's it. Our own Courtney Madden, she called it because he is our Texan Live Player of the Week.
Texan Live went out to Jersey Village this week to present Deshaun Qualls with the Cavenders Player of the Week. And after several interviews, people not only complimented his incredible athletic ability, but his great overall character as well.
Well, number one, he's got a lot of character. He's a good kid. He works hard. does a great job in the classroom, and you know, he's a mama's boy. He really is.
Aside from excelling in the classroom and being a mama's boy, Deshaun has made quite a name for himself on the football field, starting at a young age. As a sophomore, Deshaun was named the district's Newcomer of the Year, along with first-team All-District honors, and as a junior, he earned second-team All-District honors. Now, as a senior, Deshaun has earned something much more than any award: respect.
You know, he's our leader, our team leader. I mean, everybody looks up to Deshaun, and rightfully so, because he does what a leader's supposed to do. You know, he's vocal when he has to be, and he leads by his actions, and he's just a great kid.
And Deshaun knows what's expected of him as a leader on and off the field.
The leader. I have to lead my team to the victories, everything we do, I have to be the leader. First, I'm a vocal leader, and I have to lead by example, so everything I do, they follow.
His hard work has paid off. On Wednesday, Deshaun committed to Abilene Christian University, and his coaches are confident his talent will transfer over at the next level.
You know, besides being a good athlete, you know, he'll bring those leadership qualities and some character, because he's, I mean, you know, his mom and dad have done a great job of raising him, and he's proud of that, and you know, I know he's proud of his family, and he's just a great kid.
Texan Live is out at Jersey Village this week to present you with your Cavenders Player of the Week to Deshaun Qualls. Congratulations.
Congratulations to Deshaun Qualls. As always, be sure to visit TexanLive.com every week to vote for your Cavenders Player of the Week.
And congratulations to Deshaun, our Cavenders Player of the Week. The road to the UIL Football Championships that leads to Energy Stadium right here in Houston, December 17th through the 19th. You can get your tickets by logging on to Ticketmaster.com now, and you can watch all the games on the TV home of the UIL Football Championships on Fox Sports Southwest. Stay tuned. Angel Verdejo and Houston Chronicle, he'll join us after this. And this is the Houston High School Football Wrap-Up Show, brought to you by TexanDrive.com. That is Ted Johnson, the three-time Super Bowl champ. My name's Howard Chen, and right now, joining us on the phone is the voice of high school football with the pen, with the computer. Angel Verdejo of the Houston Chronicle. Angel, how are you doing?
I'm all right, guys. Just trying to get to this night of football.
All right, Angel. So, busy night of high school football. What sticks out to you the most about this Friday night?
Really, some of the scores. I mean, there's blowouts every week, but sometimes the numbers still kind of catch you by surprise. So the biggest one of the night, of course, is what happened between Jersey Village and Woods. If anyone saw that, if you caught it late, you would have thought it was a basketball game. The final score was 74-73. And, you know, for people around here that just know, Katy ISD, that's what they do. They always have shootouts. Normally the last person with the ball is going to score. That's what happened today. But, I mean, let's just be honest. 74-73, it's hard to say during football season, but that's exactly what happened tonight.
Oh, you got that right, Angel. Hey, Channelview gets its first playoff berth in 21 years. What do you think is the biggest surprise team so far this year?
You know, they're one just because they hit that bump. I mean, Channelview is a team that came out, they came out like gangbusters. You know, their quarterback, Jalen Hurts, he's going to Alabama. Everyone knew that offense was going to be fine, and that's how they started. But that's one of the hardest districts in Houston. 21-6A is just it's a meat grind. I mean, you have your North Shore, they settled their score against LaPorte today, and they're going to be in first place. But that's a district where if you mess around and lose a couple of games, all of a sudden you're going to be scrapping for wins late, and that's what happened with Channelview. Kudos to them for getting in. And then on the other side, kind of a surprise, sort of, it's what happened between Klein Oak and Montgomery. That's also a really deep district. Klein Oak kind of dug themselves a hole by getting a loss. This helps them as far as maybe securing that fourth playoff spot. So for now, Klein Oak at least is sitting pretty for now.
Now, Angel, our Big Star Forward game of the week this week was Dickinson and Clear Creek. Gators were handed their first loss. What'd you think about that game, that result?
I don't think a lot of people, I say that. Dickinson was undefeated. I mean, it was going to be a great game. I think everybody in Houston was there. It was a must-see watch. And Clear Creek, I think, made a statement. Clear Creek's been known as an offensive team, in the last, 3 to 4 years. The Hills brothers, the quarterback, they're able to score points. They made some defensive plays. They had a pick six. They were able to stop Dickinson when it mattered. That kind of shows me, and I think it's going to show the rest of Houston, that Clear Creek's going to be a team that can maybe hang around for a while, because if you can stop people, it's good you can score 40 points, but you got to keep the other teams from scoring 45 or 50. So them playing good defense against a really good team in Dickinson, I think shows a lot to the rest of Houston, and maybe even outside of Houston when you start thinking about third, fourth, fifth round of the playoffs.
Angel, last question here, and I have to ask about the school that I went to, Dulles. I mean, you're talking about surprising teams a little bit earlier. What do you think about these Vikings? Last year they didn't win a game, and all of a sudden this year they're contending for a playoff spot.
I mean, I guess kudos to your boys. I mean, yeah, like you mentioned, this time last year they were just hoping. They were hoping to get anything. Obviously, nothing went their way. That's sometimes what happens with a first-year head coach. But you know what? Another year in the program, the off-season. Also, the main thing is this time last year they found their quarterback, Luke Metzer, who's now one of the best quarterbacks in that district. And now when you have a guy who's been around, knows the system, knows his receivers, and the offense is comfortable around him, the things are going to happen. They've been just taking off wins one by one. So kudos to Dulles. This just shows that sometimes you have to hit a low to hit back up. I mean, yeah, you went 0-10, but now those Vikings are rolling.
Angel Verdejo of the Houston Chronicle, always with the knowledge. Angel, thank you so much for coming on with us. We're moving on right here, and we're going to move on to another big-time prospect, Courtney Rowland. She has more on Ross Blacklock of Elkins High School.
It takes a particular player and athlete to become a U.S. Army All-American. And Ross Blacklock, he is that person. Today at Elkins High School, he was honored with his jersey for the U.S. Army All-American Bowl.
The emotion and just the feeling of being able to play in this game and being selected to play. I thought I'd never see myself in this situation in my senior year, and I'm just blessed. Luke and Jake, I know they played before I came to Elkins. It's just a real inspiration. I've always wanted to play in this game, so it's just a real honor.
While at his Army jersey ceremony, Blacklock announced his final 5 schools.
LSU, Texas A&M, TCU, Oklahoma State, and U of H. They're all great schools, all great coaches, atmosphere, and the fans and everything. It's just it all to come down to where I just feel comfortable at. I visited all of them except Oklahoma State.
Blacklock has family connections at the University of Houston, but is drawn to Texas A&M's new defense and the powerful LSU defense that has always been known to put players in the league.
Just Coach Chavis, he's doing a real good job with the defense. That's not something that he wouldn't do, but it came a long way. I'm really impressed.
Ross Blacklock is officially a U.S. Army All-American. Signing out here from Elkins High School, I'm Courtney Rowland for your Houston High School Football Wrap-Up Show.
Well, from one Courtney to another, Courtney Rowland to now Courtney Madden. Courtney, what's up? What's the latest on Twitter?
Well, like I mentioned last week, we checked out the tweets all over Texas, and we used the hashtag Texas High School Football, but most all of them came out of Houston, to no surprise. So DFW Varsity said, and the delay stretches on at Scarborough-Hanley Field. The lightning continues here, as does the pouring rain. 212 Athletics said Cy Woods and Jersey Village are going inside the Berry Center to play the final 5 minutes arena style. Winkler Key said to sum up tonight's area Texas high school football schedule in 140 characters, Mother Nature wins. Ben Baby said Corpus Christi King to forfeit district win against Southwest because of iPad use. And Falcon View Sports said for the first time in 21 years, the Channelview Falcons will be going to the playoffs. Final score 49-25.
Yeah, that is a big stat right there. I mean, first time in 21 years, that's an accomplishment.
That's incredible.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you know what? Those boys are creating legacy right there. Seniors like that, getting that team to the first, playoffs in the first time in 21 years, they got to be proud of themselves.
History made tonight for Channelview. Congratulations to them. We'll be right back. This is the Houston High School Football Wrap-Up Show brought to you by TexanDrive.com. Here are top plays.
Left side, head of steam, breaks a tackle. Inside the 10, 5, falling to the end zone. Touchdown, Tigers.
Football going from right to left through the blue screen. Swing pass out the backfield. Savion Johnson has a move, making a move into the end zone. Touchdown, Eagles.
playing the third quarter. Here's Baines looking to throw over the middle. It's caught, staying on his feet. It's picked up by Oliver. Oliver across the 40, to the 30, the 20, the 10, the 5, and he is in.
The new
Dickinson
home of high school sports.
Sports Radio 610 Scoreboards, welcome back. A-Leaf Taylor bouncing back with a win 28-8, and Friendswood doing the same over Clear Lake 47-6.
There you go, Madison Marlins taking on Houston Lee General. Boys shut them out 40-0, and then Lamar Consolidated Mustangs losing to George Ranch Longhorns 49-10.
Well, as if you couldn't get enough Friday action, there's some Saturday action. Here's Courtney Madden with what TexanLive.com is bringing to you.
Saturday on TexanLive.com. At 11, undefeated Cinco Ranch takes on the 5-3 Strake Jesuit Crusaders at Rhodes Stadium. The Crusaders' offense is fierce under quarterback Zach Zubia and could surprise Cinco Ranch. And Saturday night, tune in for live coverage as 3-5 Katy Taylor faces off with 3-5 Morton Ranch. Don't miss out on the game over at Texan Drive Stadium as Dayton takes on New Caney. All this and more at TexanLive.com, the new home for Houston high school sports.
Thank you very much, Courtney. Some big games, Strake and Cinco. Definitely a huge game there. You see the Saturday action, the information there. And also, by the way, right now on TexanLive.com, in case you missed it, the Dickinson Clear Creek Classic, that's on there right now. Okay, so Teddy J, quick thoughts on tonight.
Yeah, good congratulations to Channelview, man, getting in the playoffs for the first time in 21 years. One week left in the season, so a lot of teams need to finish strong and get themselves positioned ready for the playoffs.
And one team knocked off the ranks in the unbeaten. That would be Dickinson, falling to Clear Creek. That does it for us. Next week is going to be crazy. It's about the playoffs. This is the Houston High School Football Wrap-Up Show, brought to you by TexanDrive.com. See you later.